Yo, what's going on, man? Today is April the 17th, 2023. It's your boy Chris, and this is not the ChrisBeCappinn NBA show, but this is an exclusive video for my early looks. It'll be available first and foremost to all of the members, and then I'll release it a little bit later throughout the day for everyone else kind of interested in my opinions on the games today. So, real quick, and it'll always be that way, right? Members will always get access first. I did send out a members only play last night that did not cash. So it was the Timberwolves first half plus the 4.5. Thought they'd be able to keep the game close. They played really well as a road dog post All-Star break, but they were not able to get anything going on offense. So they did lose the first half. They lost the full game, got kind of smacked up in the second half. But we did have a winner last night as we get into the recap. The Bucks team total to go over 114.5, even with Giannis kind of going down. We saw the Miami Heat just shoot the best that they've shot from the three-point line, which I think we'll see some regression in that department in the next game. The Bucks should be fired up and motivated in that spot. But the Bucks did cash the team total to go over 114.5, and the Timberwolves plus 4.5 in the first half did not cash. So only a 1-1 day, but overall the membership since the start of last Friday, I think it was last Sunday, so a week and a day now, we're 13-6 on those plays, so about 68%. Hopefully we can kind of keep it going. Would love to kind of hover around that, try to stay above 65%. Honestly, closer to 100, the better, in my estimation. So, let's talk about the games that we have for today. And as always, make sure you guys hit the like button for me if you can also. Greatly appreciate it, as always. And let's jump into it. So, first game up, today we have the Brooklyn Nets and the Philadelphia 76ers. We got Philly up to 10-point favorites in this game as a home favorite tonight. And then we got a total of 213.5 points as well on most books right now. So a couple different ways that I kind of feel about this game. So going back to the first game, we know that the 76ers are a much superior team here. I'll start with the Brooklyn side. So Brooklyn, they didn't play. You could say that they kind of played well. They shot the ball, a lot better than I thought that they would from the field. They actually shot 48%, which isn't bad. They shot they shot 55% from the field and shot 44% from the three-point line. I think that they kind of live with both of those numbers, but somehow they only scored 101 points, and that's because Philly plays at a pretty slow pace. And Philly is a very, very, very good defensive team. A lot of those points came from Mikal Bridges. He had 23 points at halftime. Then he started to get double teamed in the second half, and he finishes only with 30. I say only with 30, but more so just to say that he only had 7 points in the second half. Brooklyn did turn the ball over 19 times in game one, which led to 31 points for the 76ers in that spot as well. And the Brooklyn Nets gave up 15 offensive rebounds and were outscored 21-3 in second chance points as well. You listen to the post-game interview, and all the guys are kind of saying the same thing that Coach Vaughn is saying, is that, they got to be able to get out in transition and run faster so that they can get more wide open threes. We know that this is a perimeter-oriented team. Don't have a lot of guys that can score in the paint or, even attack the rim, as well. And we know Joel Embiid, as good as he is offensively, he is a good rim protector as well. So that's what Brooklyn will try to do, try to get out, run a little bit more, shoot a bunch of threes. But Philly is pretty good offensively, pretty good defensively. Flip it. Now you look at the 76ers. They actually made 13 of 21. They made 13 of their 21 threes in the first half of the game, and they finished with a franchise record, playoff franchise record, 21 threes made to score 121 points. Of course, they won the game by 21-21 to 101. So they won the game, covered the spread. I think they were laying 7.5 or 8 points in that game, maybe 8.5 points. And now they're favorites of even more points, right? So I thought that was pretty interesting, right? Do we think Brooklyn really has a chance in this series? You could say that they cut down the turnovers, try to do a better job of rebounding the ball, try to get out and run in transition and, get to the rim. But I don't see the 76ers kind of letting up, no matter what the Brooklyn, what happens on the Brooklyn side. So one thing I looked at in this game, and I'll share my screen so you guys can see this as well. I looked at let me just get it pulled up real quick. I looked at home favorites that are bigger home favorites than they originally were in the first game. So on my screen here, if you guys can see this, and I think you guys should be able to see it. On my screen here, I have the Philadelphia 76ers, not the Philadelphia 76ers. I have home favorites of I have home favorites here who won their previous game as a home favorite, and then you see the line increase in round one specifically, dating back to the 2018 season. And what you guys can see here on the screen, hopefully you guys can see it. What you guys can see here on the screen is that those teams are 17-1. They're 16-2 against the spread as well, so they're covering 88% of 89% of the time. And the average line minus 8.6, and they're winning those games by average of 15 points here. So here you can see all the covers, a lot of covers in a row. Let's see, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 covers in a row, and this is when a team won as a home favorite in their previous game, the line is increased, and it's round one since 2018. So that's kind of how I see this game going. I think even if the Nets hit a few threes and score a few more points, I don't necessarily think there's something that they'll be able to do throughout the entirety of the game. And I also expect Philly to continue to play well defensively. As good as they are offensively with Joel Embiid, I do think that they still play well offensively. I also think we see some regression to the mean for the Philadelphia 76ers in their elite three-point shooting. Can they make three-pointers? Yes. Will they continue to have to knock them down? Absolutely. I think Coach Vaughn doesn't go away from the game plan of trying to double Joel Embiid and make those other guys beat him. I think the Philadelphia 76ers make those threes, but I'm not sure if they make 21 of them. I think that you get some regression there as well. So you look at the total in this one, it's 213.5, very similar to the last total, even though that the game went over by what, 10 points, 10, 15 points. If you go back and look at the same screen that I just kind of shared with you guys, then let me see if I can get that pulled up one more time. You guys can see here that even in those games, 11, 6, and 1 to the under, they stand under by about 4.4 points. Here you can see that those teams are averaging about 101.9 points, and that's extremely sharp to what the team total is for the Brooklyn Nets in today's game. So I think we see some regression to the mean for the Sixers, and I also think Brooklyn struggles to score. So for this game, I did lay the 10 points with the Philadelphia 76ers as the home favorite. I also played the under 213.5 as well. I think Brooklyn has to focus a little bit more on defense, some regression for the 76ers. The 76ers still play really good defense, and the Nets may not shoot as well from the three-point line as well. So I see a lot more defense in this game, some regression from the Philadelphia 76ers, and I did play the under 213.5. Also laid the 10 with the Philadelphia 76ers. The Kings and the Warriors game would be an extremely interesting game. I thought this one was I don't have an official play in this game quite yet. We got some time before this game starts, but I do think it's interesting that the Warriors lost the last game as a dog, and on most books they were a dog, and they opened this game as a favorite. Not too often you see a team that's a home favorite win and then lose, and then they don't open as favorites. So my initial lean was towards Golden State. They control that game for a large majority of the game. You listen to the post-game interview and you hear, everybody from the Golden State Warriors all say the same thing. We got to be able to rebound the ball better because we got bullied on the rebounds, and we got to be able to cut down on the turnovers. And for as much grief as we give the Warriors for well-deserved grief that you give the Warriors for being so poor on the road throughout the entirety of the regular season, they actually played pretty good basketball, had a 10-point lead in this game as well. To me, it's not something that I want to do as far as fading the Golden State Warriors in back-to-back road games. I want to give some credit to my guy Munov. He actually pointed this out to me. The Warriors respond really, really well off a loss in the playoffs. They're I'm sorry, they're 35-13. So 73% of the time, if they lose a playoff game, they win the next one. 12-3 straight up, 10-5 against the spread since the 2018 season after a playoff loss as well. I think the line's pretty telling in this one. I haven't gotten there yet, but I do think that I'll probably end up laying the points with Golden State as well. And to the point of them being road favorites in this game after losing the last game, I'll say that I looked at that in the database as well. Teams that lose in their previous game as a dog and then their favorites in their next game in the playoffs doesn't happen often. Only 3 and 2 is what I have in the database straight up and against the spread. But they're winning those next games by average of 10 points. And you take Golden State and you really could take the money line and or later point, later half point. It's probably going to be at a pick 'em. But yeah, I do want to take Golden State tonight as well. Just haven't gotten there yet. So in recap of both games, and I'm not touching the total. Last game went over. Both of these teams played extremely fast pace. If I play a total, it'll probably be in Golden State. But Golden State's a much more better defensive team. If you look at the numbers, they just play so much better defensively at home. So we'll see what the total is for game 3. But best bets for today, Philadelphia 76ers minus the 10 is what I took. I also played Brooklyn and Philly to go under 213.5. I'll take a look at some player props as well to see if it's anything that I love. Of course, we cashed on Keegan Murray to go under. They've adjusted his line by, I think, about 5 points. He's all the way down to 9.5, I think it is now. So I'm not as interested. I think, you watch film, you adjust. So probably, Trey Lyles doesn't have as big of a game. Keegan Murray probably comes in. He won't get that much attention in the game plan as Steve Kerr prepares because he didn't do that much in the last game. So they're really going to try to figure out how to limit Sabonis like they did last game and slow down De'Aaron Fox and Trey Lyles off the bench because those guys are the ones that had the biggest game. So those are, my preliminary thoughts. But like I said, I'll try to find maybe a few player props. Won't force anything. But, yeah, best bets, Philly minus the 10 tonight, Brooklyn, Philly under 213.5 as well. And let's cash tonight, man. Hit the like button for me as you guys leave. We'll be doing the show later, as always, 5:30 Eastern time. Join me for ChrisBeCappinn. Best of luck. Enjoy the games tonight.